The opening chapters of the book of Genesis have been the subject of all kinds of discussions and debates. But with all our questions about how the world was created, let's not miss the main thing Genesis is telling us: who God is. The message of Genesis is best understood against the backdrop of the ancient Near East and Genesis' first audience. In this world, religion was an integral part of life and very different to the religious world we know today. Back then, people worshipped many gods, but they were nothing like the God of the Bible. They were more like high-level administrators who acted like oversized humans with superpowers. They fell in love, got into bad moods, and attacked one another. The gods were also connected to a particular feature of nature. So you had a storm god, a fertility god, a god of the mountains, or a god of the sea. Each god dwelt in their own temple where people went to worship them. So if you were living in this time, you strove to keep the gods happy. How would you do it? Well, you went to the temple, to their temple, and you made sacrifices. So if you wanted a good crop, you made sacrifices to the storm god for rain. If you wanted to fall in love, you went to the goddess of love. If you wanted to have a baby, you appeased the fertility god. Knowing this kind of backdrop, take another look at the opening chapters of Genesis. Can you notice the differences? First of all, notice the power of Yahweh, the Hebrew name for the Creator God. This God is all-powerful. God speaks, and it is. God's voice alone creates. God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. God said, "Let there be seas and oceans and plants and trees," and there was. Yahweh, the God of the Bible, is not battling it out with any other God to see who is more powerful. God's not engaged in any cosmic battle because there's no competition. Yahweh is I am, the first and the last, the source of everything. Later in the account, particular attention is given to the sun, moon, and the stars. In the ancient world, the sun, moon, and stars were considered to be gods. But in Genesis, Yahweh is the creator of them. They're not gods, they're just lights in the sky. God is supreme over all creation, and that includes other gods. There is no God before him. The second thing you notice is that while the Creator is powerful, God is not impersonal. Yahweh is a personal deity with a will and a mind. Again, this is a radical and unusual idea in the ancient world. Greek philosophers such as Plato defined reality in impersonal terms. Later in Israel's story, we discover that this Creator God also speaks. God's revelation is not seen primarily in natural phenomena like wind or fire or earthquake. Instead, this God reveals God's self in a voice to a man called Elijah. A voice that is deeply personal, that knows Elijah and all that he's going through. Yahweh is neither a storm god, a fire god. This God speaks, meaning that we can personally know him. The big story of Genesis tells us who God is: powerful and mighty, but also deeply personal. A God who longs to speak to us and be known by us. Thanks for listening to Everyday God Conversations today. Join us on the journey to hearing God's voice by subscribing to our email devotional plan at godconversations.com. And may you hear God's voice clearly in your own life. See you next time.